Let's examine this issue further, and we're now being joined by the Chief Executive Officer of Afrinvest Securities, Mr. Ayodeji Ebo. It's a pleasure having you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, at the beginning of the year, a lot of analysts anticipated that the stocks there will be a recovery post-elections, but that didn't come through. How disappointed are you with this performance?
Yes, I think we saw a lot of the foreign investors, especially the foreign portfolio investors, for most of them at the beginning of the year, for most bet on the candidate that has more private sector driven policies. And after the announcement, we saw that significant decline from a high in February of 4% year to date to a negative region about 5.3%. And when you look at it in terms of even the sectors, the consumer goods sector that topped in terms of the losers chart. And the major factor that have driven this is the pullout of foreign investors. In January, about 55% of the total transaction came from foreign investors, and that has gone down to as low as 33%. So what we're seeing now is domestic investors driving activities in the market. And the results that are supposed to also bring some form of succor to the market, investors looked away from that, and the sell-offs, especially from the foreign investors and institutional investors, continued.
But there were a number of primary activities that helped weather the storm during that period. Do you see them sustaining the market in the second half?
No.
Why?
It's majorly policy-driven. So we feel that there should be some specific policy for most of the foreign investors that have been supporting our market. So we can't say we can, for now, we still can't do without foreign investors. If they are going to, it has to be on a gradual phase. But you look at the petroleum sector, we need to be very deliberate in terms of passage of the PIB. You need to look at even the power sector. We need to see how we want to establish reflective tariff system there, reviewing the MITO. You also look at, in terms of even the market, investor education, that also continues. So if we don't see some of those policies that can attract these foreign investors, what we'll be getting is more foreign investors going into fixed income securities at the expense of the equities market.
No, it's typical of the market to record losses in the third quarter, but with those things you revealed out, can it reverse the negative trend within that period?
If we see some of those policies being implemented, that would reverse the trend. But you also, we've seen, when you look at the Q2, which is the half-year result, for the consumer goods, the industrial goods, for most of those results, their top line weakened. And that buttresses the fact that the growth rate, you look at the GDP growth rate in Q1 was around 2.1%, down from 2.3% in Q4 2018. Shows that the economy is still lagging behind the growth in population. It means every day as we wake up, poverty increases. So as long as we don't come up with policies that can jumpstart the economy at a rate that is above the population growth rate, then the consumer pocket will continue to be squeezed, and for consumer goods, industrial goods, the purchasing power will be impacted, and as a result, you don't expect any significant upside in terms of top line of the companies that are quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
CEO of Afrinvest Securities, Mr. Ayodeji Ebo, it was a pleasure having you with us.